My baby's 7 months old, and if there's one thing I'll make sure I teach them about fitness, it's that fitness comes in all shapes and sizes. A lot of times on the internet, when people are talking about fitness, what they're actually talking about is aesthetics. So aesthetic means the way that you look. So think like bodybuilding. You're training to look a certain way to meet a set of criteria that you're going to be judged on for at your competition. Or like a lot of Instagram influencers, they're not training for fitness, they're training for aesthetics to look a certain way. And I've been physically fit multiple times in my life for different things. Physically fit means that your body is physically prepared to do something. So, for example, I played rugby in college, I was probably some of the most physically fit I've ever been in my life. And this is what I looked like. Then I competed in strongman, and I was the strongest I've ever been in my life, but I was definitely not the most physically fit. I probably couldn't have even ran a mile without stopping. This is what I looked like. Then I decided I thought I wanted to do a bodybuilding competition, which I didn't do. But I looked the most probably aesthetic I've ever looked, and I was probably the least physically fit that I had been in a long time, and this is what I looked like. And then right before I got pregnant, I was probably the most physically fit that I've ever been in my entire life. I ran a half marathon, and this is what I looked like. But I can tell you one thing's for sure. If you're like 1 or 2% body fat, you might look very aesthetic, but you are probably not very physically fit because you need to have some body fat in order to physically perform. So the next time that you see somebody online that you're comparing yourself to, or you might be judging them on what they look like, let's just remember that that's not a good indicator of physical fitness.